Hello, hello, I have returned for the second part of this stream. So uh, I thought the chart was mislabeled, but I was just looking at it before I started the stream back up. And I think we're actually 1 on step 2. Our mounting hold positions are the number 1 rather than the number 3. And that would be correctly labeled then. So we're not going to have to do a janky hack and try to figure this out on our own. I believe the directions are still telling the truth, so to speak. So we're going to continue on our way. So I also looked into I believe a washer fell on the floor, or not a washer, a spacer, and I crawled around down there and tried to find it, but I was unable to find it. Luckily we don't need it, so it's not a problem. So I believe I've got audio on, right? Yeah, okay, good. I believe we want this here. Also, I see you guys discussing music in the chat. I'm a bit of a audiophile myself. I don't know if you guys use or were aware of what.cd that got taken down by the French authorities recently. But if you guys are looking for an alternative to that, wink wink, nudge nudge, hit me up in a PM sometime and I could maybe get you into something else, so to speak. You never heard of what.cd, Miblo? I'm sorry to hear that. You really missed out. It was an amazing resource. Even if you don't pirate music, there was a lot of content that's perfectly legal, such as user-created collages, forums, the wiki that had a lot of amazing information, you'd get amazing recommendations from like the top 10 staff picks, things like that. It was just an amazing community, and now it's completely gone, which is very sad. It was taken down like the day I left for Handmade Con. So Handmade Con was both a very, very happy time because of Handmade Con, but it was also a very depressing time because of the loss of what.cd. But there are some communities that have sprung up to try to take its place. And there's one in particular that's looking like it's really going to be the successor to what. See you, Static Motion. Thank you for tuning in today. So I think this one right here is maybe a little bit stripped or something, because it doesn't tighten all the way. Like, it just spins loosely when it's all the way in. But that should be fine. We just need to hold it in place with the pliers. So now I'm also wondering, this has padding. I don't know if you can see, but there are these pads here from the previous cooler. And I don't know if we're going to need to remove those or not. We will find out. Is that not the right? I might have these in the wrong position. Also, I just realized I forgot to put on my wristband. And yeah, I have a last.fm too. I don't use it for recommendations though. I just scrabble what I'm listening to. I use Plex though, and it doesn't really work that well with scrabbling. I'm pretty disappointed with last.fm because like it has so much interesting data, like, but it doesn't display it in any very useful way. There's like it just seems like to me last.fm is kind of like a squandered potential. Like if I'm gonna scrabble what I'm listening to, I'd like to see information like oh, you listen to this album this many times and these are like ranked over this period of time. I want to see, like what was the top things I listened to from by tracks or artist or album, or like it has a few things you can look at that it displays, but it's very limited. I feel like there's a lot more that you could do there. Okay, now back to what we're doing. Kind of got a little sidetracked thinking about music. I should probably look at the chart again to see which ones we're supposed to be using, but right now I'm just guessing. I think it looks like these two need to be in these ones here. I know you can't see super well what I'm doing right now, but that's as good as it's gonna get. It's not really a position I can put this in to make it easier to view. My workspace is kind of cluttered right now. Okay, let's try this again and see if it's closer. Now the $1,000,000 question here is, do the pads get in the way? And it looks like the answer is no, they do not. So we don't have to worry about the pads. That's good news. And yeah, exactly, Miblo. That kind of thing would be really interesting. Like, you could do graphing and charting, like visualizing. You could have a whole bunch of statistics and like query for different ranges of time or things like that. It would be cool if someone made a site like that. All right, and now we need to put this on top of that. So I guess it's just gonna sit something like this. Looks like we want some spacers for this. These are different spacers, not the ones that I lost. So my alignment's a little bit off. There we go. You want to line it up so that the protective film isn't sticking out. So I think that should be good like that. Oh, and I should probably put on thermal paste. So let's take these off. You definitely don't want to forget that. Now let me find some thermal paste quickly. So I don't have thermal paste from Arctic. I have some, I have like 3 different things of thermal paste. This one here I got from Noctua when I got their aftermarket cooler for my CPU. And so I think I'm going to use that here. Okay, now we have the choice of trying to put it on here and then set the GPU on top, or we can put it on directly on the GPU and set it on top. normally with like a CPU, the CPU is in the socket on the motherboard, and then the cooler goes on top of it. Whereas this is kind of backwards. We have the cooler sitting down, and then the GPU goes upside down and goes down onto it. So, but I think I want to put it directly on the GPU because I don't want to, you know, put it on the cooler and then have it be off center and like have it end up so that the thermal paste doesn't go on the GPU. So I'm just gonna apply like a grain of rice worth because this is a pretty small chip. The amount I just put on there might even be a little bit much, but we're gonna go with it. So now the deed has been done. We're not going to be removing this again, because if we did, we would need to clean off the thermal paste, because if you take it off and then put it back on, you could get air bubbles trapped in there, which would impede the effectiveness of the thermal paste. Now we put this unit on top of that. And let's not forget our spacers. There we go. Now I'm just sliding these over the mounting points. Now we actually screw them in. Okay, now I believe it's this one that's loose. So we need to hold it in place with the pliers. There we go. Next up, we need to fasten on these little clips here. Now on the bottom side, the card really doesn't have a place to fasten because this is all the connector, the PCIe, and there's not any like card jutting out over here, so we're only gonna have one on the bottom. this end, we can put more on there. So I think I'm just going to put 3 on this end. Normally it would be 3 on each end, but since the bottom only has space for 1, it's going to have to be like this. All right, so we now have it fastened properly. And there's just one more final touch we need to do. We need to put this guy back on there. Oh, I didn't realize that. Some of these have screws on both sides and the ones for the other side don't. So it actually matters which one you put in where. So I need to redo this. No, not well spotted. If it was well spotted, I would have noticed this before I put these ones in. I put them in before I noticed this. And I noticed it because I need to screw that last piece in where the side holes are. And so I was like, well, these two don't have that. Okay, so it's this guy we want, because you can see there has a hole. And where did I put that other one? Oh, it's still on. Okay, I think we're good now. Now, does it go this way or that way? Looks like it goes like this. Except I think we want this to line up here. We're gonna need the one I have right here. It's gonna need to go more like right here, because it doesn't, like this, it would be like, see if I can, okay, so like it would be over here, so it wouldn't, I wouldn't have a space to put it through, so I need to move it over. So I think we're gonna try right here. Yeah, that should work where I have it now. So what I'm doing now is I'm lining this up with this right here. So this is the front of the card, and what we're talking about is the top part where you would screw it in. I know this is off camera, but there's not an easy way to screw this in on camera because it needs to be held upright. Just lost the screw. There we go. Yeah, I need to do this off camera. right, there we go. So we now have the passive cooler fully installed on our 750 Ti. So the next step will be for me to put it back in the machine, power it on, monitor the temperature, and then if the temperature is good, that'll be it. And if it's not, I'll need to put a fan in there. But I can't really get, like, I'd have to move the webcam below the desk if I were to film that. So I believe that will have to be done off stream. So I'll finish putting this in the machine and testing that. And I'll see you guys, I guess, what is it, Friday? Yeah, so Monday. I'll see you guys Monday. And we will be getting back to our usual software-related business then. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I know it was a long one today, but I think we got some good stuff accomplished. So stay risky, everyone.